Hi everyone. So today we'll be learning about the queue. In our last video we learned about data structure stack. So today we're going to start with queue. Now what's a queue? You're all familiar with a queue. When I asked you about stack, probably you were not, but queue, I'm sure each of y'all must have stood in a queue somewhere or the other, whether it's for movie tickets or whether it's for paying your grocery bills or whatever. Okay, so queue is nothing but a FIFO data structure. First in, first out. So what does that mean? The person or the element that is put into the queue first is the element that will move out of the queue first, right? If you're first in line for billing your groceries, aren't you the first to leave the queue? So that's exactly what a queue data structure is. First in, first out. Now in a queue, insertion and deletion do not take place at the same end. For example, if you look at the queue given in the picture, when a new person gets added to the queue, the person gets added after the lady at the end. That means the lady with a pink sweater or something like that. Whereas when an element or when a person is deleted from the queue or is the service is done and she's moved out of the queue, it's the lady with the yellow skirt, correct? So insertion and deletion are not done at the same end, and that is the reason in a queue we talk about two ends, the front end and the rear end. Rear is where the insertion takes place and front end is from where the deletion takes place. Is that clear? So that's the what do you say gist of a queue. Now in terms of computing or computers, where do you see a queue? Let's assume multiple users are using or are on a network and they're connected to a single let's say single printer, because we have learned advantages of networking, that resource sharing. Okay, so they're all connected to a single printer. Now out of the 5-6 people who are connected to the same network, let's say 3 of them decide to print at the same time. So they give the print command, let's say. So your print request, okay, you wanted to print a file, the request for printing that file is put into the print queue. And whoever requested first, even if you'll say that you all did it at the same time, there would be seconds difference. So whoever issued the print command first, his or her file gets printed first. This is about networking. Let's assume at home you try to print 3 documents. You say print doc 1, doc 2, doc 3. Have you seen your doc 1 gets printed first because your doc 1, doc 2, doc 3 all go into the print queue, and from there the first item is removed out, printed. Then when the second item comes to the first location, that gets printed. So with every printing, each file in the queue gets to the first position. So the person at the first position is the one that is serviced, correct? Another example would be, have you all ever dialed toll-free numbers? At times you get a message, thank you for calling, please wait till you get an operator for your service, correct? So what is happening? Your calls are kept in a queue. So only when you reach the front of the queue is that is the time when your call is accepted or your services, you are given some services. Is that clear? So that's how, or that's where the queue takes, you see a queue. Okay. Now what are the operations that you can perform on a queue? The 2 operations that you can perform on a queue are called enqueue and dequeue. Now what does enqueue mean? Enqueue is like if you want to add an element. So insertion is enqueue. So this is to insert an element into the queue. Okay. And what does dequeue mean? Dequeue means deletion. Okay. Now remember, insertion is always going to be done, because we are using a list for this, we are going to be doing it using the append function, and the deletion we are going to be using the pop function, but pop specifically with the index number here, index number 0. Why? Because we just learned that a queue pops the first element. The first element is always going to be at index number 0. Is that clear? Okay, next let's learn the terms used with queues. The terms used with queues are peak, underflow and overflow. Now we have seen these three terms with stack as well. But in a stack, peak meant to display, not to remove, to display the topmost element. Here the peak function talks about displaying the front element. That means the element that is going to be serviced or currently being serviced. Underflow is a term used when you try to pop something from a list or from a queue that is already empty. So you would give a message saying underflow. Overflow is a term used when you say the list or the stack, list or the queue is full. Now, like I said, your list allows it to grow during the execution of the program. So we don't generally see the overflow condition, but you could limit. Now, for example, you create a list, but then you want that only 5 elements to be inserted to the list. So you could, force an overflow condition. But in other programming languages, like I said in my previous video, the queue has a specific size, a given size, a static size. So beyond that, it cannot grow. List doesn't have a static size as such. It can keep increasing as and when required in the program. But if you want to restrict it, you can always say, no, the length of the queue can only be 5. So anything beyond 5, you would not be accepting, and you could say overflow. Is that clear? Okay, so let me just take you to now the program part of it. That is what is going to be asked in the examination, is to implement the enqueue and the dequeue functionalities of a queue using Python program. Okay, so here's my program. I've created a queue using a list, and it's an empty queue. Now, if it's an empty queue, do you have elements in the queue? No. Now, I'm using two variables, front and rear. What does front represent and what does rear represent? Or rear, to be the correct pronunciation. Front is always going to tell you where the first element is, and rear is always going to tell you where the last element is. Okay, currently with respect to the current elements. Okay, if you keep deleting elements, obviously the front element will keep changing, but front will tell you currently what is going to be serviced first or taken into consideration first. So now when I have an empty list, are there elements in the queue? No. So does front and rear refer to any elements? No. That is the reason I have initially given them the value none. No specific elements. Okay. Coming to the enqueue function. Enqueue is to add an element into the queue. Okay. So how do you add something into a list? Because we are using a list to implement a queue. Remember, we're just simulating a queue. We're not going to be, how does this program help? No, this program doesn't help. We know that queues are implemented in real life situations or scenarios, and we're just writing a Python program to simulate a queue. So how do I add something into a queue? I just write queue.append. Append is a function we know which adds something into a list. Okay. After that, I issue a print statement saying what I have added. Now, as initially the length of my queue is 0, right? Because there's nothing in the queue. But the minute you add the first element, do you agree with me that the variable front and the variable rear refer to the same element, because the first element and the last element happens to be the same? And where does it happen to be? At index location 0. And therefore I wrote front is equal to rear is equal to 0, which means if you have added only one element, then front and rear refer to the same element. But if you're adding the second element, the third element, the fourth element, the 100th element, then front doesn't change. Front always refers to index location 0, but rear refers to what? The length of the queue, number of elements in the queue minus 1. For example, we know if I've inserted 5 elements, okay, it's going to be at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So where's the last element going to be? At location 4. How do you get to location 4? Length of the queue, that's 5, minus 1, which is 4. Is that clear? So this is important for us to check this, that if this was the only element inserted, you can't just update the value of rare. In that scenario, you know what would happen? Front would continue to remain at none. That's not true, right? So if this is the first element and the only element inserted, front and rear both refer to the same element, which is at index location 0. Okay, why did we write global? We know that I have used a global variable front and rear, and I want to update those variables in all my functions. I don't want to create new local variables with the same name, front and rear. This is what we've learned in the functions chapter, correct? Okay, coming to dequeue. Dequeue is to delete an element from the queue if the front is at none. Is there anything to delete? No. So I just give a message queue underflow. Otherwise, which element do you delete? The first element. The first element is always, or the front element. The front element is always at location 0. So I wrote queue.pop in brackets 0. Instead of 0, even if you wrote front, it would be fine because it's going to be the same. Front is going to be talking about the first element, which is going to be 0. You've updated front here to 0, correct? So front will remain at 0. Now, after you delete an element, you realize that there is nothing in the stack. That means what? The length of the queue has become 0. Then in that scenario, haven't we come back to our initial state of an empty queue? Correct? And if the queue is empty, will front and rear point to any particular element? No. So they come back to their initial state, which is nothing but none. Okay? Otherwise, what are you doing? You are just updating rear after the deletion has taken place. You will just update rear as length of the queue -1, means the last element that is there in the queue. Okay? Peak is to tell me what the topmost element is. So I said if it's none, there's nothing to display. So I say queue underflow. Otherwise, the element that I have to display is the first element. First element is represented by front. You could even say queue of 0. I can say queue of front as well. Okay, because front is going to be at 0. Coming to the display function. If I call the display function and the queue doesn't have any element, then in that scenario, is there anything to display? No. Again, I say if front is none, you're going to give a message that it's queue underflow. There is nothing to display. Otherwise, what will you display? From the front element to the rear element. So I wrote range front, rear +1. Start at front, rear +1. You could have just written range rear +1 also, because front is 0, right? So when you say range of 5, it starts from 0 and goes up to 4, correct? So I could have just written for I in range rear +1 also. Here I'm specifically writing just to let you know that the queue elements start at front and end at rear. Now you already know how the range function works, and that's why we have written rear +1. Because if I type rear, it will stop at rear -1, correct? So I want it to stop at rear, so I wrote rear +1 and I display the queue. Is it clear? Okay, I've just called these functions. Okay, first I've done peak. So peak means show me the first element. Initially it should say underflow because there is no element. Then you add this, add this, add this. Then you peak once again. Then you add one more. Then you display. Then you delete. Then you display. Let's see what's happening, how the output is. Okay, it says underflow. Why? Because the first peak. Okay, if you come to the peak function, what does the peak function say? Front is none. Yeah, front is none. So it said underflow. Then I said add 3, add 5. So 3 is added, 5 is added, 7 is added. Now I said peak. So peak is supposed to show me the first element. So the first element is nothing but 3 because that's the element at the index location 0, or the first element to be serviced. Okay. Then you added one more. So it said element 10 is added. Then you said display. Now here, if you remember the top, we were displaying from the last element to the first element. Okay, here it's always going to be, because it's a queue, no? The priority is given to the person in the front, from the first to the last, so it displays all the elements in the order that you inserted. Now, how many elements did you dequeue it or delete? 2 elements. Which are the first 2 elements? 3 and 5. So 3 gets deleted first, then 5 gets deleted. And now when I call the display function, it's displaying the existing elements of the queue, and there are only two more elements in the queue. One is 7 and one is 10. Is that clear? Now 7 is the front element, 10 is the rear element. Okay, so let's see, suppose I show you a DQ again, QUEUE, and I say DEQUEUE. So I'm deleting both the elements and then I say display. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, let's run the program again. I'm not going to the top part of it. You've already seen it says again 7 deleted, 10 deleted, and now it says queue underflow. Why? Because they've come back to the state of none, and we have written in the display if front is at none, it is underflow. Is that clear? So I hope the simulation of a queue is also clear to you. Okay.